So good day, tutorial for Angular JS PhoneCat. So basically, we're gonna set up the install git, which is this is the link provide, and also this Angular JS PhoneCat respiratory, and also the Node.js. But since I already installed the installation, now let me show you how to follow these steps. There are 15 steps. So I'll be using cmd. So now we're on the cmd control command to enter the folder of Angular PhoneCat, cd, which is command Angular PhoneCat dash. So now we're already entered in folder for in Angular PhoneCat, and then let's try open. And step 0 is bootstrapping. So what is bootstrapping means? It means that in this step of tutorial, you will become familiar with the most important source code files of AngularJS PhoneCat apps. You will also learn how to start development servers bundled with Angular Seed and run application in a browser. Check out space dash F, paste npm, and then start. For start cloning, the cloning has given us the localhost, which is where we can find our output. Then enter, go to the browser. Nothing here yet, which we can see this here in our Visual Studio code. Nothing here yet, and also we can find it here. Now let's proceed to step 1, which is static template. So what is static template? In this step, in order to illustrate how AngularJS enhance standard HTML, you will create a purely static HTML page and then examine how we can turn this HTML code into a template that AngularJS will use dynamically display the same result, which is the app index.html. So now let's try to run this in our CMD. Control C, which means to stop the server from F0 bootstrapping the. Now our step 1 has already cloning. All we have to do is just refresh our website, just like this one, and let's see the changes. Now you can see there is a changes. There's a Nexus S. So this is our step 1, and the next is the step 2, which is the AngularJS templates. So in this step, it's time to make the web page dynamic and with AngularJS. So we will also add a test that verifies the code for controller we are going to add. So now our step 2 has finished for cloning, and again just refresh. So as you can see, there were 3 already in the step 2, while the step 1 is just for just 2 only. And the next is the tutorial 3, which is components. So in the components is component. In the previous step, we saw how a controller template work together to convert the static HTML page into dynamic view. This is a very common pattern in a single page application in general. So okay, it's already finished. And again, just refresh our website. So as you can see, the step 2 and the step 3 were just still the same. Now let's proceed for step 4, the directory and file organization. So in this step, I will not be adding any view functionality to our application. Instead, we are going to take a step back, refactor our code base and move files and code around in order to make our application more easily expandable and maintainable. Now, our step 4 has already cloning. Go to our web page, just refresh. So still the same. Now let's proceed to the step 5, which is the filtering repeaters. So in this step, we did a lot of work in laying a foundation for previous steps. So now we'll do something simple. We will add full text search, which is, as you can see later on, you will see this search bar. We also write end-to-end test, because a good end-to-end test is a good friend. It says where with your app, keeps an eye on it. Is a filtering repeaters. So this would be the this is the new. You can also search. As you can see, it's working. And now let's proceed to the step 6, which is two-way data binding. So in this step, we're trying to say that two-way data binding is that we will add a feature to let our users control the order and items on list, which is the dynamic ordering implemented by the creating a new model property, wiring it together with the repeater, and letting the data binding magic on the rest of the work. Step 6 has already cloning. Now let's try to look at and refresh. So basically, we are now seeing this sort. Here in our code, we are using a dynamic ordering template. Ordering implemented by creating a new model property. So which this is mean. So now let's try to use this. Alphabet, newest, alphabetical. As you can see, when you are trying to select alphabetical, it will be alphabetically newest. And then the next one is step 7, which is HR and dependency injection. So in this step, enough of building an app with 3 phones, hard-coded datasets. Let's fetch a larger dataset from our server using one of the AngularJS built-in service and called HTTP. We will use AngularJS dependency injection to provide the service to the phone list components controller. Now let's try refresh our web page. So as you can see, there's a lot more. In our step 6, there were just 3 only, but now as you can see, there's a lot more. And then now let's proceed for the step 8, which is the templating links and images. So in this step, we will add thumbnail image for the phones in the phone list and links that for now will go nowhere. In subsequent steps, we will use the links to display additional information about the phones in catalog. So now it's already be cloning. Let's try to refresh. So as you can see, there's a step 9. So in this step, you will learn how to create a layout template and how to build an application that has multiple views by adding routing using the AngularJS called ng-route. So now let's try to refresh our web page. So as you can see, TBD detailed view would be the result for the step 9. And now let's proceed for the step 10, which is the more templating. So in this step, we will implement the phone details view, which is displayed when the user clicks on a phone in the phone list. When you click on a phone on the list, the phone details page with phone specific information is displayed. Together, still go. So now as you can see, let's try to refresh our web page for step 10, 11, which is custom filters. Custom filters. In this step, you will learn how to create your own custom display filter. So now already cloning, and then let's try to refresh. Now let's try to click this one. Now let's proceed to the step 12, which is the event handlers. So in this step, you will add a clickable phone images swapper to the phone details page. So which means that the phone details view displays on large images of the current phone and several smaller thumbnail images. It would be great if we could replace the large image with any of the truth thumbnails just by clicking the desired thumbnail image. Let's have a look on how we do this in AngularJS. Refresh. So let's try to click this one. So as you can see in our So now let's proceed to the step 13, which is the REST and custom services. So basically in this step, we will change the way our applications fetches the data. We can define a custom service that represent a RESTful client. Using this client, we can make the request for data to the server an easier way without having to deal with their lower level of API or HTTP methods and URLs. So what would be the animation means? So in this step, we will enhance our web application by adding a CSS and JavaScript animation on the top of the templates code we created earlier. We now use the ng-animate module to enable animations throughout the applications. We also rely on a built-in detectives to automatically trigger hooks for animations to tap into. When animation is found, it will be run along with the actual DOM operations that is being used on the element at given time. So now the 14 has already cloning, and then let's try to refresh again. Now in this step 14, as you can see, by clicking the images, as you can see, it's just swipe. So that would be the animations. Let's try to look at for another phone. Our step 14 is already cloning. Now let's refresh. So let's try to click this one. That would be all. Thank you for watching my tutorial for a AngularJS PhoneCat